Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johann.
And we're at minute 79, guys. This minute begins with Rico smirking as he just killed a giant tanker, and ends with Razchek saying that he expects the best. I absolutely love this scene where he is just smirking. And actually, you pointed it out to me too, right when we, before we got on mic, how, he is just happy as a clam.
Yeah. I mean, this is, think about it, like, this is massive XP.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one who has killed the bug. No one else looks like they shot at it. He definitely just got the solo kill on this.
Yeah, because he was the only one that engaged in combat.
Yeah. And took it down all on his own. Okay, this is definitely rolling a 20 and getting a great roll on also the critical list as well too. Do you ever roll with critical, like, because you and I have DM'd a few times, right?
Yeah, because I know what you're saying, but he also succeeded would it be an athletics check to prevent from being bucked off by the bug? Mm-hmm. A difficult point blank shot on a moving target while trying to keep balance. Like, he's just been crit succeeding, or at least just succeeding in every roll. But the explosion, that one has to be a crit success.
Yeah, and as I said, that rolling on the crit table as well too. He probably rolled really high in like the 90s for that crit table. Like, the bug explodes.
Yeah.
Man, I really need to. Gosh, I'm playing right now with the Unlimited Lives crew, John Robert and Crystal Beth, who we just had on recently. I play with them D&D, but they don't roll critical tables at all, unfortunately. But
it's not necessary because it really is. It's a little bit more complicated to use.
It adds flavor, and I like the flavor.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I also didn't like. Because sometimes you have a DM that just wants to add their own flavor of how it of what works out, and that's cool. It's only if they just use text like, you just hurt him a bunch,
Yeah, that's what I don't like. But, if you say, you not only chop off, you not only go for his leg, like, if a player says, I go for his leg, and I, do a slash. Okay, well, good. Not only do you slice off his leg, but he falls on the ground and goes prone. There you go. But in that case, you don't need to do a table at all.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he starts walking back. Everyone is cheering, and you actually hear a few people do, like, that, I guess it would be like a whoop. They're whooping for him.
They're whooping?
And, either like, woo, or like, yeah, and everything like that.
Oh, I thought you meant that they were whooping it up like, what's his name, Arsenio Hall.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But I hear a bunch of like hoo-ah, which is very standard.
Yeah, and then Rico starts walking back. Razchek is holding Birdie still, and he says to a corpsman, call for retrieval. I'm sorry, no, he doesn't call for a corpsman. He's calling for his radio guy. It says call for retrieval, and he hands Corporal Birdie off to someone, and that person calls for a medic.
Yeah.
And Razchek, I'm actually at 1:18:07 right now, and he is just in awe at what Rico just did.
Yeah, because I think this is like one of the first, probably an MI to take out a tanker on their own. Because I'd be pretty sure that they either had to get air support or just just clear out from this.
Yeah, this is probably, I don't think it's going to be the first time that a trooper has killed, a tanker, but it's probably the first time that a single trooper has killed a tanker.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a great thing. And Razchek even says, "Where'd you learn to do that, soldier?" And Rico smiles. And he's like, "Yeah." Rico's like, back in school, sir. You remember I was captain of the team.
I hate this line.
I do too, because
these are one of the things that you and I always talked about that kind of led to us doing this podcast is because of line reads like this. Well, okay, it's not a line read because this is actually in the script. So this line was thought out, and I hate this line because it makes no sense whatsoever. So he says, "Where'd you learn to do that, trooper? Don't you remember, sir? I used to be a captain of the team." That makes no sense. That makes no sense whatsoever because no time during jump ball did they have to land on top of something, stay on it, dunk something. None of it is in jump ball at all. None of these plays. If he did a flip 6-3 hole, he didn't even do a flip onto this thing. He just jumped on it. He's just athletic, but it did not it does not correlate to him being the captain of a jump ball team.
Yeah. I think about it a little bit more now because we're doing this minute by minute, but I think more of like, oh, he's, just questioning the athletic ability of Rico. Like, hey, where'd you learn to be so darn athletic about that? And he's like, back in school, don't you remember? And again, it's kind of a dumb thing for a Raschek to ask, but I think he's just still in awe. Like, oh my gosh, where did he learn to do? Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right.
No, okay, but everybody in the MI has to be somewhat physically athletic. They've gone through boot. I mean, you don't go out there like, I don't know, like unable to jump. Let's start with that. Okay. God, this... I really get frustrated with this line read. Anyway, so let's start with the first move. The jump, okay, maybe jump ball. Fine. But it's still not a flip 6-3 hole, so it has nothing to do to him being the captain of jump ball. And also remember, that is a play between him and Diz, so it's not necessarily just him. So it's just him jumping onto a surface. The last episode, I jumped onto a surface.
I mean, we both did.
Yeah, but I was never a captain of my team.
You could have been. Who knows?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, so I'll go ahead.
Okay, but so just being able to physically jump like that does not correlate to you being the captain of the team. Anybody else on that team could possibly done that. Diz could have possibly made that jump as well. Second, he had a gun. That has nothing to do with school. Hopefully. Nope. All right. Then he shoots the back of the tanker. Tanker flips out. He grabs onto the side of the tanker. Did not do that in jump ball whatsoever. First off, if you do that, it's a penalty to hold on to an opposing player. You don't do that. And secondly, why would you do that? It makes no sense. And then flips open the grenade to prime it and dunks it in. No grenade in school, and he made no dunking motion in school. He is just physically... He's just athletic. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with the fact that he was a captain in his team. He's just athletic. I told you before, I think it was almost a year ago that we were talking about this. It's just when he says where'd you learn to do that? Oh, don't you remember? I was a rodeo clown in school, or I learned how to ride the bull. That would make sense, but playing jump ball does not. It's a horrible line. It does not make sense. Raschek knows he's adept or above average at that, but it does not correlate amongst being the captain of the team and doing this move.
No, and I don't think it does either. I've been thinking maybe Raschek doesn't believe that he could have done it because of no one has taken down a tanker before. But then you saying all this, it's not that you have a problem with what he's doing or how he's doing it. It's just the fact that he just says, I learned it in school. Don't you remember? I was captain of it. That's the thing you have a problem with, right?
Yeah. So let's say, okay, so Raschek asked him, where'd you learn to do that? He could say, don't you remember? Under pressure, I could pull off the game-winning play. That would make sense, because that correlates to exactly what happened in the school that we know of. This has nothing to do with what we saw. Unless this was an actual play that they did that isn't shown in a movie, it does not make sense. But yeah, saying like, oh, like, don't you remember? I can pull off the game-winning play under pressure. Makes sense. This statement does not.
No, it really doesn't. And yeah, you and I definitely have discussed this before, how this line is just dumb. And I'm hoping our listeners agree with us because, man, ugh.
Yeah.
Such a bad line. But Razchek turns to him and says, I know he knows who he is. Like, I think Rico is kind of thinking of like, oh, he probably doesn't remember me.
Yeah, I guess. Well, all right, so,
yeah, and he turns around and says, well, Rico, I need a new corporal. You're it until you're dead or I found someone better.
Yeah. But the only thing that's different in the script, so Johnny does say that, don't you remember? I was captain of the team. Like I said, that was in there. But Rashik says, I'm not interested in nostalgia, Rico. I need a corporal. You're it until you're dead or I find someone better. Like,
see, that would be better.
Yeah, so that line would have been perfect. He's like, I don't care what you did in school. You did good. Like, but yeah, the line just doesn't read right in a movie.
So we did get a message from you and I both. We actually got a message from a listener and Facebook group user, Christian Sanchez, who is on the Roughneck Minute billet. Where you want to talk about Roughneck Minute at 4 a.m, go for it, man. But he actually did say that doing officer training and everything, you have to do that before you rise up in rank, usually quite a bit. So Carmen rising up in rank is probably makes sense, but Rico rising up in rank like this probably doesn't make sense. I would actually love to have you on, Christian. I'm actually going to send you a message after this episode goes live, and we'll see if we can't get you on for a future minute to discuss something that comes up in the future in the minute. But he says that earlier that in the message that he says that it's one of the recommended reading for military and Marines as well too. Hyland himself was a naval officer and took a lot of that to his book. And he also says very, very bluntly, he also hates Carmen. So that's great. But yeah, so Rico gets a field commission and he's corporal now. Good for him.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of bugs me about this scene though right now, he pats Ace on the shoulder and says, "Hey, I need squad leader." Ace says, "Oh, no, I've been there and I screwed it up. I'm just here to fight." The one thing that bugs the crap out of me, he says, "How about it, Diz?" To me, that's like, hey, I didn't get what I wanted first. You're my second choice. What do you say?
She's always been second choice, though.
But that's the thing. She shouldn't be happy about it. She shouldn't say, "I'm your girl."
I know, but I mean, I can understand why he would ask Ace because Ace technically has experience.
Okay, no, but that's okay. I get that he has experience being a somewhat person in charge, but so does Dizzy. She was the quarterback of the jump ball team. She knows how to run commands and everything. She knows how to lead people.
Yeah, but she doesn't know calls that you would need in the battleground like Ace is supposed to know.
I guess, but I mean, but the thing is too, she's been a subordinate in this military outfit. She probably knows them, how they're said and everything, and what they mean and everything. She just has to know when to do them.
Yeah. I mean, I understand your point of view, but I also understand why he would immediately ask Ace. But as far as the story goes of him asking Ace, I think that makes a good reveal towards the end when they start to reintroduce the characters in their new ranks.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I think that's kind of why they touch base with it, because if they went first they see Rico and he's obviously a higher rank, and then they talk about soldier Ace. Like if
Private Ace Levy.
Yeah, like you would think why is he still a private?
No, because he wants to be. Yeah.
Yeah, but this couple seconds answers that.
Yeah, I get that. That definitely does make sense too. But it just bugged the crap out of me that Dizzy's just so happy to be second best.
I know, but I
That's my only issue.
yeah, but these couple seconds of them saying these lines, that's the space cigarettes for "Thank you for smoking."
Pretty much, yeah, exactly.
So
And then they bump heads and say "oorah," and
Yeah.
they're all happy.
oh,
We
there's
get a scene change.
oh wait, real quick in the script, this part's kind of funny. I wish they added it. So there's a skimmer that's supposed to arrive. That's supposed to take out Birdie. Radishik gives her a thumbs up with a prosthetic hand and says, "Don't worry, Birdie. Your next arm comes with a factory guarantee."
That's great.
I wish that was in there. That's actually pretty good.
And how he's just so nonchalant about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that'd be great.
Before the scene change, there's also supposed to be a scene where TAC fighters go like fly overhead, and they start to or in bug plasma and shoot skyward.
Ooh.
They start to bug out after this.
Yeah, I wish the Battle of Tango Urilla was a little more fleshed out, because the next scene we get it, and they're pretty much on, not on leave, but they're relaxing,
Okay.
and everyone is, because apparently Tango Urilla is its own planet. It has its own biodiversity, and what is it? Its own population of bugs, and apparently towards the very end, right at this next scene, everything's cool enough to have a party, basically.
Yeah. So, just real quick, because you did briefly mention that you wish there was more of Tango Urilla.
Mm-hmm.
There actually really was.
Oh gosh.
And it's actually kind of cool, and it's something that I can see why they cut it out, because you remember in the script I mentioned that they were wondering how this plasma was created.
Yeah.
Okay, so the plasma bugs cannot create their own plasma to shoot out with.
Mm.
There's a thing called breeder bugs that gather around the plasma bug and inject it with this catalytic jelly.
Okay.
And then that's what creates that reaction where they expel
Mhm. Expel.
the plasma. So that's how it's done.
Okay.
So they don't create it themselves, but there's another bug that actually works with them to create this reaction.
Yeah, and in the little article I have called the Army of Clendathu, it said that it was supposed to be like what they were shooting out were basically little larvae, so they were kamikaze larvae, basically.
Okay. Yeah. So
I mean, both of those things are pretty cool still.
yeah. So in the scene that what didn't make it, because it explains how the plasma is created, but since they don't even add that question in a movie, they just remove that entire scene.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they do this thing with the nuke that they did earlier, where they nuke it real quick and creates this huge explosion, and they start to kind of move into Bug City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, so it's this whole... Wow, this scene is actually really long of what got cut out. And a lot of it are spoilers for the ending. So this is why they removed it.
Okay. Well, yeah, because as we learn later on in the other movies that we're not going to go over minute by minute,
Yeah.
basically every planet has its own brain.
Mm-hmm.
And this, planet P has its own brain. Clendathu has its own brain, and Tango Urilla apparently has its own brain as well too. But again, it's not shown. But I mean, even in this scene where like they bump helmets and they go "oorah," it would have been nice if there was like a fleet of TAC fighters going by, doing another bombing run, and then maybe like you see a few Corvettes up in the sky, like doing like glassing the planet or something. So we know that it's not just the Roughnecks doing their encircling bug, pumping them full of bullets thing, and that's it.
Yeah, I get that.
That's it. But yeah, let's continue on. Go to our scene change. Everyone is partying. Well, not partying just yet. They're all pretty much, walking around without shirts. A few of them, guys. A lot of them still have their uniforms and armor on. Razchek right here, he just has his officer's jacket. A lot of them have changed into their, off-duty officer's clothes. Or not officer's clothes. Yeah, pretty much just off-duty onesies, I suppose.
But remember, this is the same area where Ace got heat stroke, so I can understand why some of them are just wearing, not Ace, but Jake Busey got heat stroke, so that's probably why they're all wearing, or some of them gone shirtless at this point.
So this is what I'm wondering, though. Do you think that this particular scene is on a soundstage or on location? Because now that I keep looking at it, the background kind of looks superimposed in.
I think it's going to be just because of the sheer majority of extras, it's going to be on location.
Okay.
Like, it wouldn't make sense to move all these people just to go to a soundstage when you can easily put up a green screen anywhere, or just find the right scene or scenery that you want to film it in.
So yeah, it may be on location. It may not. I tried listening to the actors' commentary, but they didn't really say, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well.
But anyway, so yeah, we get this scene change. We get basically the whole entire. I don't want to call it a billet again because it's probably not. But it's their area where they're bedding down for the night.
Yeah. So it's probably just the safest spot that they could find, considering they are surrounded by bugs. That's why I kind of still think it's on location, just because we've seen similar areas like this in different shots.
Mm-hmm. And it may be too because apparently filming at night and especially lighting at night is a lot easier than doing it in the day, because if you do multiple shots during the day, you have to account for the different angles of the sun, the shadows and everything, and at night you just have one static, or you have many static lights that you can control.
Yeah. So
that makes a little more sense. One thing I do like, though, is that spire in the middle right here at 11855. It has the MI flag at the very, very top, but I'm pretty sure it doubles as a communication tower.
Yeah.
But I just love how I'm pretty sure they were able to still put it up. And yeah, there is a skimmer to the right.
Yeah. So that's probably the one that Birdie's going to be on, and probably how they get those things that they just dropped off right there.
Yeah. So Razchek, because we know it's Razchek, he's right there. We definitely see his bald spot. We don't see his arm though.
Yeah, but he does thump on those pods with the prosthetic hand, which is probably the best way to get everybody's attention.
Yeah, he says. Well, I mean, he also says "listen up," which is a good way of getting attention as well too.
Yeah, and he's probably just a very recognizable voice that the minute he speaks, everybody just shuts up.
So I gotta say, I'm kind of thinking about wrestling right now, just because I'm at 118.58, and there's the one guy who's front and center right in the screen. He's wearing a black shirt, suspenders, pants, but he also has the AJ Styles style gloves.
Yeah, I saw that.
and that reminds me so much of AJ Styles, and I'm like, man, Royal Rumble was so awesome.
Yeah, I'm still watching it, so.
Man, it was super good. And oh gosh, do you want me to tell you?
No.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you who wins, but do you want me to tell you who they choose to go for?
No.
Okay, I won't tell you.
Yeah, I'm watching it still. I'm at the Rumble right now.
Okay. It's good, man. It's really good.
Yeah. Luckily, by the time you guys, the listeners, hear this, you won't be able to spoil it for me because I have been able to watch it.
Yeah. And then we end our minute basically when Razchek says that he expects the best.
Yes.
So, yeah, he expects the best. I mean, that's where that minute ends. You want to say anything else about this, particular minute?
No. And I kind of excited about the next minute because I just found something out, so.
All right. Well, let's get to it then. Guys, where can they find you? I'm sorry, Johann, where can they find you?
Oh, yeah, guys, where can we find you? Go ahead and post that up on the Roughneck Minute Billet.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, we'd love to add some new people. Go ahead and post your Facebook information, your LinkedIn information, all that other stuff. Heck.
LinkedIn, geez, still on that.
I'm still on that.
All right. Well, I'm on Twitch and Instagram at JDASHD26. I'm most likely going to be streaming Monster Hunter World because I just got that game and oh my god, is it fun.
I was going to ask you how it's, but I'll talk to you off mic.
Yeah. And then I'm on Twitter at OMG It's Johann.
You guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere on the internet. Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Why not LinkedIn? But you guys can follow the show itself at The Roughneck Min on Twitter. You guys can go to our Facebook group, The Roughneck Minute Billet, where you can talk about Roughnecks and the Starship Troopers movies at any time you want, even at 4 a.m. Why not? You can also go to our website, theroughneckminute.podbean.com, for any past episodes of show notes. You can also go to our... also, guys, please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Google Play, or any other podcatcher you guys use. I personally like Podcast Addict.
Yeah, same here. It's my preferred one since you told me about that.
Oh, yeah. It's such an... I actually did pay money for it when I first got it, just because I don't like having the banner ads. And, I mean, it's such a good app. I wanted to support it. But that was, like, years ago.
Yeah.
But, guys, I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I've been your other host, Johann.
We will see you on the Bounce Troopers.